Hey there, it's Tiffany of Clarity, Confidence, Courage, Next Level Success. I hope you're having a great day. I wanted to put this video out because I was talking to a friend recently and I was telling her, I was like, even though I've done a lot in my life, I still feel so behind my peers in my age group. Now, of course, everybody has different ideas of what behind means. Does that mean behind in life? Does that mean behind in finances? Does that mean just behind in relationships? Like, what does that mean? And I was telling her, I said, I just feel like growing up as I became an adult, even though I was doing adult things like paying bills, going to school, I had a career, I still felt socially behind. Like conceptually in my mind, there are certain things that other people could do easily that I thought was so difficult. It's like, how are they able to do that so quickly and so fast? But for me, it takes forever. And we were talking about this idea of trauma. And when you go through trauma, especially childhood trauma, you literally you have like a blind spot when it comes to certain skill sets. For example, my biggest blind spot was boundaries. Things that people could do by just saying, oh, no, I'm not available. I never felt like I had the right to do that because I was told as a child that I didn't have boundaries. Adults could do whatever they wanted to me, and I just shut my mouth. So the idea of this concept of boundaries, you can say no, you can tell people no. When you're a child and you're not taught that you can say no to the adults in your life, that saying no means that you're bad or you're going to get in trouble, it starts all your nervous system having different issues with the freeze, flight, fawn response. Freeze, flight, fawn. And I think there's another F that I might be missing. But I saw a recent video. I follow a lot of therapists and trauma informed, and I've been in therapy. And one thing someone said that I saw in a video recently, she said, the reason why so many adults that face trauma in their childhood feel behind is because you have a blind spot when it comes. It's almost like having a developmental blind spot because there are certain things that a healthy parent will teach their children that an unhealthy parent either won't teach or they don't have the capabilities or whatever it is. And they said, so the reason why some people, as they get older, they're either two buckets. Either you haven't done a lot in your life, and so you feel very behind from your peers, or you've overfunctioned and you've done a whole lot. You've like had businesses and written books, but at some point you might have like a midlife crisis in your 30s. Like you have a breakdown. It's just like, and you don't understand why you can't get out of it. And it's because a lot of times most of the time, trauma affects the brain. It affects the body, but it especially affects the brain. And so you have to start teaching your brain to think differently in different situations because that's what's really holding you back is the conflict that you have internally from the traumatized child who was saying, oh, we can't tell that person no, we can't move forward, we can't do that. And the adult you who was saying, no, we can't, we have to move forward. We can't sit here and not do anything. We have to move forward. So you're having that conflict of the back and forth because the traumatized child is trying to keep you safe because you're trying to do the thing that you weren't allowed to do when you were a kid, like tell an adult no, or set boundaries, or make big decisions for your life that might go against the values that your family taught you as a kid. So the child you is just trying to keep you safe because it still thinks that you're a child. It still thinks you're going to get in trouble for saying no, or for setting boundaries, or for telling other adults what they can and cannot do to you. So I say all this to say, I thought it was fascinating as I was having this conversation with my friend and then watched that video about the lady talking about, why adults sometimes feel behind, is that it is a trauma response. It goes back to the fight, flight, freeze, fawn response. That was it. Fight, flight, freeze, fawn response. Where when you find yourself in a situation that triggers you and takes you back to something that, reminds you of the childhood you and that trauma that you went through, your nervous system goes back and it goes into the fight. Either you're extremely volatile and you're fighting for all you've got. Flight, you ghost, you leave, you run. Freeze, you don't know what to do. Or fawn, you smile and try to be nice and you become a people pleaser. So just know, even though the trauma itself is over, it's still running in the back of your mind. It's still running someplace in your body. It's still actually happening, even though it's over. And I read a quote that says, trauma is not the thing that happened to you. Trauma is the result of what keeps happening inside of your mind and your body when the event has passed. And I thought that was deep because it's so true. When you go through the traumatic experience, once the trauma ends, it's over. It's physically in a time frame. It happened and it ended and it's over. But it's not over for you. It's not over in your brain. It's not over in your memories. It's not over in your body. If you haven't read that book, The Body Keeps the Score, read it. Because trauma stays with you for the rest of your life unless you do the hard work of going to a trauma-informed therapist who knows how to handle trauma, who has experience in family systems trauma or narcissistic family trauma. Be willing to find a therapist who actually has that background experience and knows what it's like because they've been through it, right? So I say all this to say that if you are a professional woman, you're like, Tiffany, I have achieved so much in my life, but I still feel like I'm being held back and I don't know what it is. I'm doing all the things. I'm working really hard. I'm getting up early. I don't know why I'm not actually moving forward. I know I'm smart. People tell me that I'm intelligent. What is holding me back? I will tell you this. There could be a lot of surface tangible things where you need to make tweaks in your goal setting and your calendar or whatever. But there might be some subconscious things that you are not aware of that's running the show. And those are the things that truly are holding you back. So I just want you to ask yourself, as a professional woman, if you feel stuck, what is really holding me back? What is really the thing that I know I need to do that if I did it, my whole life would change, but I'm scared or I'm afraid? Ask the questions. And if you need some help when it comes to really digging into those questions or somebody to keep you accountable or hold your hand, even if you're in therapy, it's okay to get a coach. As a coach, I have helped women. They were coming to me and they were in therapy because they were working on both. They were working on the subconscious stuff that was running the show, and then they were working on the surface stuff, the goal setting, being held accountable, getting things done, getting their life decluttered, focusing on how to speak, how to communicate with confidence. Those are the things that they came to me for. So in any case, if you're interested, I am opening up spots for my one-on-one coaching. Feel free to click on the link below. I think if this is TikTok, that it'll take you to my YouTube page in my bio. And in my YouTube, any of my most recent videos has the link to my website where you can book a call with me if you feel like you would like to apply and see if we'd be a good fit. Either way, my website is cccwomen'sempowerment.com. www.cccwomen'sempowerment.com. Feel free to go there. It's my coaching site. You'll see the link to book a call and let's chat. All right, do you feel like you're being held back legitimately because there's some things you just don't know? Or is it because you may need to seek a therapist, a trauma-informed therapist, to help you also get through your trauma? Either way, I'm happy to chat with you and see how I can help you. Hope to talk to you soon, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.